Okay. Why are you seeing all these videos from me talking about stuff that nobody talks about? I'm talking about these things because I'm practicing the opposite. Nobody else is talking about them. That is why I'm talking about them. We live in a society that really values being happy and being kind and being nice and being generous. And we really value the half of us that is super good. But I wonder how much of us actually don't nurture the side of us that needs nurturing the most. So here you go. You work on being generous, but how do you handle someone that's not generous? You work on being kind, but how do you handle somebody that's not being kind? You work on being happy, but how do you handle yourself when you're not happy? Or how do you handle another person that's not happy? Those are coping skills. And if you watch people and you pay attention, you'll see various different coping skills popping up, and we all have them. I think when I figured that out, it was probably the saddest day of my life. I felt so gypped and so jaded that I was like, oh my God, I have got to dive into this ugly stuff in order to find my own way. So that's why I'm talking about them. And the other thing too is there's a value in learning about those things, because we are all going to go through those things. And usually what we do is we usually go to a place where we know we're going to be accepted and where we can freely express our thoughts. And we all have those friends that we share our little secrets with, and we pray we're not gossiping. And trying not to be negative, but we're actually having a conversation about trying to find a solution on how to love that person better. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a bitch session just to release some of that negative energy, and that's okay too. I think we all do it anyway. So there's that. I love it when my friends call me and they're having a hard day and they just want to unload. I see it as an opportunity to practice the things that I know, and I enjoy that. Anyways, in regards to experiences and who we go to for the advice that we're looking for, things I want you to think about. Would you ask a single person about what it's like to be married? Probably. You might, but how good is the advice going to be? Same thing if you think about it a little further. Would you ask somebody that was recently divorced compared to somebody that's been married for 45 years about information on how to make your marriage work? Again, things to think about. Who are you asking for the advice? Would you ask a cook about how to fix your car? Probably not going to get the best information, are you? So those are just a couple of examples of paying attention to who we're asking. When we're hurt and we're suffering and we're dealing with the difficult things, we go to places where we can be accepted, and to try and figure out those answers. But what if the best answers are coming from the people that actually had the personal experiences with that kind of suffering? What if the people that have not had those experiences don't have information for you? They don't have good information for you. So, I don't know, just be mindful, I guess is what I'm looking at, is just be mindful of who you're asking when you're going through suffering. If you're asking somebody that hasn't had a lot of suffering in their life how to handle something really difficult, well, probably not going to get the greatest information. because they know what society knows, but they don't know necessarily what they know about it. If you haven't experienced it, you don't have the level of knowledge or compassion to be able to handle it. So when you're giving advice, give it from your heart, give it from the realness of who you are, and look for the realness in other people, the people that have embraced being completely human. And somebody along those lines is generally humble. They're generally accepting. They're generally gracious about perceived negative behaviors. And honest to God, I think that is the beauty of suffering. And if you had to ask me why people suffer, I would tell you that it is to develop a greater compassion for themselves and for other people, because that compassion is what gets people back to love. I'm just saying, something to think about. I'm talking about stuff that people don't like talking about. I'm talking about stuff that people don't like talking about because I needed that information when I was going through all my crap. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you're going through. It's valuable. You might not know it until 4 years down the road where you have somebody come to you and then you get to access that information about what you learned and share it with them. And that makes all the difference. And I wish we could all just be a little bit more open about the times when we're not happy, the times when we're not kind, the times when we're not feeling generous, so that we all could have the opportunity to learn about those things and how people handle them. My way is not the only way. My way is only based on what I know. I think about all the information that's out there, or the potential for that information to be out there, and it's not. We're all hiding behind our good side. We all suck, but we're all great too. I just wish people could get comfortable with that. I want people to be comfortable with that. Not 100% comfortable with sharing this negative stuff because I'm very aware of the fact that it rides against what society thinks we should be. I know what I know. Not speaking about it isn't helping. Let's just put it that way. We have a better way of being if we tap into that side. So that's me. Spaghetti on the wall. Dang! Sticks or a dozen. Toodles.